Welcome, friends. I'm kicking off today's show by learning about Hard Rock Cafe's latest world-class burger and the international soccer star it's named after. Then I'll walk you through the things you should be spring cleaning that most people aren't, and how you can make the homemade cleaners you need with just 3 items you probably already have in your cabinets. I also sit down with a 5-time Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter who's also making waves in the fashion world. And if you're feeling exhausted, I found the coach who can help you go from burnout to boom with simple strategies you can start implementing today. So before you change your clocks this weekend, I'm helping you maximize your time and energy while encouraging you along the way, because this is the Sami Cone Show.
From the News Channel 5 Network, this is the Sami Cone Show.
Are you ready to get messy? Well, now you can at Hard Rock Cafe Nashville with their newest world-famous burger and a pretty cool partnership I can't wait to tell you more about. But let's head over to Hard Rock Cafe Nashville with Blake Heinrichs and Chef John Nazareth. What is going on over there, you guys?
Oh, you know, just getting a little messy, making some burgers and making people happy.
Yeah, so messy is spelled a little differently. Are we by chance referring to a world famous, maybe arguably one of the greatest soccer players of all time?
I mean, you might be onto something there. So this is actually created with what you said, Mr. Lionel Messi, who's a Argentine football player for the League One club Paris Saint-Germain, and also the captain of the Argentinian national football team.
Absolutely. So this burger, I mean, Hard Rock Cafe is known for its burgers, but this is really special. So this is taking some of Lionel's favorite burger components. Am I right there? And if so, can you tell us what those are?
Yep. Yeah. So John back here is actually currently making the burger. It actually is a couple of Lionel Messi's ideal components. So it starts out with our 2 double-stack steak burger blend patties. It's got provolone cheese on it, caramelized red onions, sliced chorizo, and it's actually topped off with Hard Rock's very own smoky, spicy signature sauce.
Are you going to give us any insights into that signature sauce that we all crave so much?
Oh, I don't know. A magician never reveals their secrets.
I was afraid you were going to say that. Now, I mean, I heard there's something that truly makes it the messy burger. What do we have to ask for that?
Well, so if you really want to get the full experience and get a truly messy burger, add a fried egg on top and you're good to go.
That sounds delicious. Can you see the drool coming from my mouth yet? I mean, this looks delicious. Yes, this looks delicious, but I mean, true to Hard Rock Cafe fashion, I heard there's some merch that goes along with the partnership.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we actually collaborated with Lionel Messi last year during June, when we were celebrating our 50th anniversary. So this actually is an ode to the roots of Hard Rock. Back in the 1970s, Hard Rock sponsored the original Hard Rock Cafe in London, sponsored one of the local soccer teams. And then from there, it all blew up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is that makes your shirts so iconic. I was actually at that London Hard Rock Cafe, not quite in the 70s, in the 90s. And I mean, we literally left what we were doing to try to make it there before it closed to get one of those shirts. I mean, obviously we're in a different time now. Are you guys expecting lines? Like, what can we do to get these shirts that have something special? Does it have Lionel's number, or is it his logo? What's on that?
So with this merchandise collaboration, you'll actually find things specific for Lionel Messi, things including his number 10, which is very iconic, the lion, and his actual very own logo.
That's amazing. And is that going to be available at any because how many Hard Rock Cafes are there now all over?
So Hard Rock Cafe is currently in 68 countries with 253 different venues around the world. And this ranges from your cafes, live performance venues, casinos, and hotels.
Wow. Okay. And so will this burger and this merch be available? Not that we don't want people to come to Hard Rock Cafe Nashville, of course, but is it available everywhere?
It is. So at all of our Hard Rock Cafes, the Messy Burger is available.
That's fantastic. Okay. So do we have to wait? Can we come now? What's the deal with our Messy Burger?
We're open and ready. Bring it on. We're open. We're live now with the burger. and it's ready for you guys to enjoy.
Fantastic. Well, Chef John, it looks like you are doing a great job back there. Any special tips before we let you go? Anything that we need to know about how to eat this messy burger so that we don't get messy?
So, not getting messy, kind of hard, but that's the fun of the challenge. Right now, we have the messy challenge going on right now. So if you order a burger, film yourself on TikTok. I want you to take the biggest bite you can, turn. Let's see how big it is in the camera, and we got to see how messy you get.
Challenge accepted. You say TikTok, we're on it. Maybe Lionel himself will even duet that with us. You never, no promises, right? But
Yep.
You never know. You never know.
Hey.
Chef John Blake, thank you so much for joining me on the Sami Cone Show today. You can get messy as well at the Hard Rock Cafe Nashville. Starting now, use the hashtag Let's Get Messy for that messy challenge. And I mean, just enjoy one of their world-class burgers and an iconic shirt. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me today.
You are very welcome. Thank you.
Absolutely. We'll be there soon. When we think of spring cleaning, we often think of deep cleaning things like our windows or maybe even flipping our mattresses. But what you may not be doing is cleaning the things that clean the things you clean every day. Did you follow that? Okay, let me break it down for you. Things like our dishwasher, your washing machine, dryer, your garbage disposal, your sink. Those are the things that need to really be clean if you want to maximize your cleaning. But don't worry, I'm going to break it down for you. Plus show you the 3 things that you need to do all that cleaning that are probably in your house already. What I'm talking about is getting some cleaning vinegar. Now, I picked this up at the dollar store. This is great for so many purposes, especially for making homemade cleaners. Some baking soda, which oftentimes I just get it right at Costco because I use so much of it. And then you have your kind of measuring cups and stuff. So let's start with those sinks that can sometimes, those drains will move slowly. What you're gonna do is take a cup of baking soda and you're just gonna sprinkle it down the drain, a cup of vinegar, and then you're going to cover it with a cloth for 10 minutes and let it do its thing. Take some hot water, pour it down the drain. It's going to be running super smoothly after that. Plus, if you want to freshen up your garbage disposal, you can even just take a lemon or any kind of citrus, put the peels or even just cut off a small chunk and let that run in the garbage disposal, maybe with some ice cubes. That helps it keep really fresh as well. Okay. Some of our worst offenders are our washer and dryer, especially if you have a front loader. Every time you run a load, I want you to wipe down the inside of your washing machine and then leave that door open to let it air dry. When you close the door and it's still wet, that's what causes the mold and traps odors. I also want you to pull back that gasket and you're gonna spray your cleaner. This is my homemade lemon vinegar cleaner. You're gonna spray it in there and then pull that gasket back, remove anything that shouldn't be there like pennies, Legos, hair clips, and then wipe that down as well with the cloth. Now, speaking of washer dryer, please tell me you are cleaning out your lint trap. This should be taken out after every load, and you're gonna take it and literally scrape all of this gunk out that's inside, okay? This is a fire hazard. Now, what I also want you to do is while this is out, you can get one of these vacuum attachments for under $10 from Amazon. You're going to attach it to your vacuum and kind of go in and trap all of that dust that sometimes your lint trap doesn't collect. Plus, if you use things like dryer balls, these are really great for helping kind of reduce static cling and also helping to keep your clothes fresher and dry faster. So, the other thing I want to make sure I tell you about is cleaning out the tracks of your sliding glass doors. You can actually take a sponge and cut lines into it so that you can actually get into those tracks even better than before. You'll just cut in and then you're going to remove these parts of your sponge. And what I want you to also do if you don't have one of these handy nozzles is take a old toilet paper roll here. You're going to attach that to your vacuum nozzle and then pinch down on this part right here, and this can then become a vacuum for inside of your sliding glass door. So remember, to make this homemade cleaner, we're just adding some lemon, some old lemons, lemon peels, vinegar, let it sit, and then you're going to mix it with some warm water. That's your all-purpose cleaner. You can also use baking soda, and lemon is a great scrub agent. But these are ways to not only keep your home clean, but to clean the things that you want clean every day and make it even better. I recently sat down and had a conversation with someone who's making their presence known in both the music and fashion industry, and I cannot wait for you to meet him. Let's take a look. With the Grammy Awards right around the corner, I couldn't be more excited to invite five-time Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter Dante Bowe into the studio today. Dante.
Oh my goodness.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
I am really excited. I will admit, I was a little nervous about my fashion game today.
You look great.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love the shoes, the shirt.
It's on point because
great.
you, correct me if I'm wrong, just got done with New York Fashion Week?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I just introduced you as a Grammy Award nominee.
Yeah.
But you did your first.
Tommy Hilfiger.
Yeah, I just can't even get my mind around that. Tell me about that. What were you doing?
Honestly, it's so scary. I mean, Anna Wintour, who's, the head of Vogue, was there in the front audience.
Yeah, just Anna Wintour.
It was really, really scary and nerve-wracking, but I think for my genre of music, it was cool to kind of be the representation there, and I want to do it more. Yeah.
Yeah, tell me, just go a little bit about, your pants, first of all.
Yeah, my best friend, Phil, he made these pants. His clothing brand is Selah, and so he sent me a bunch of stuff. I decided today, I'm going to wear some of the pants.
And you're wearing it well.
Yeah, thanks.
Fashion, obviously fashion and music go well together.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a thing, but to transcend, to go from walking, what do you want to do with fashion? Why is that so important to you?
I believe that fashion is for culture, I think it's one of the leading things, what people wear. It's almost like getting a haircut, or like any necessity, you know what I mean? And so I feel like that's a space we hadn't occupied as Christians, and it'd be cool to kind of have us represented in that world, as well as music and all the other things that we do. We're represented in sports, we're represented in music and acting, but I feel like in fashion there's a void there, and I've always loved it from a young age with my dad and my mom. They were always really fashionable people, and so yeah, I just want to be one of the leading voices for my genre.
So do you think you'll be designing then too?
Yeah, I sketch a lot, but I want to start really honing in on my designing skills and make something cool. Something cool is gonna happen.
Okay, you heard it here first. Something cool is gonna happen.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it. You said something earlier about in your genre. I'll admit, I was listening to some of your music. My man was saying he just transcends everything. It's gospel. It's R&B. Do you put yourself in a box, or do you have trouble kind of labeling exactly what you do?
Such a good question. I don't put myself in a box. I understand that labels are important for charting and all the other things, awards and all that. But I try to go in and really tell my story, and whether that be I'm dating somebody, or my relationship with Jesus is everything to me. So whether I'm talking about that or my parents, I kind of try to make a gumbo of all of my experiences and put it on an album. And a lot of it is faith driven, so I think that's what more people lean toward. Calling me as a faith artist, and I love it.
Well, I just know that a lot of artists, especially Christian artists, have trouble labeling themselves as that because it's unfair, right? There's so many genres. Yeah. And your faith doesn't necessarily have to. It influences your music.
Yeah. Well, Christian is not a style of music.
Right. That's it.
Christian is my faith and what I believe in. My style would probably be more R&B soul. However, Yeah. And now you're nominated for 5 Grammy Awards. And how many different categories? With how many different groups? I think it's 3 different categories, and it's myself and my group Maverick City. And so I have 2 or 3 songs that are just me leading, and then I have 2 albums from Maverick City that's nominated.
And how do you, I mean, to be a solo artist and then to have that collaborative spirit, what makes that work so well?
I think just knowing who you are and knowing your place, and what I mean by knowing your place is not that you're walking around with your head down when it doesn't pertain to you, but I'm talking about just knowing, like, I'm a son of God and I'm called to other avenues, and I don't have to pick one over the other. And I think Maverick and my team, they work so well together as far as like scheduling and making sure it all makes sense, and because they're a pretty big group, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, Maverick City Music, I mean, between that, Elevation Worship, I mean, it's transcending Bethel. I mean, it's transcending just faith-based listeners.
Yeah.
How do you explain?
I think it's because the relevance. I think, you know, I've been through a lot as a believer, not just rainbows and Skittles and good stuff. And I think Chandler and Naomi and Jen Johnson, all my counterparts, they've been through so much. And I think now the world is even listening. I think the pandemic helped a lot with that. People feel like, you know, man, at any moment this could all be different, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of people were leaning towards God in the pandemic, and that was when Maverick really took off. It's because we were constantly releasing content, hopeful content, and content that brought light to people's homes and stuff like that. So I think that's a lot of the reason it's transcending, you know, the Christian listener, because everybody wants hope. Everybody wants to, you know, feel it at least if they don't have it, you know.
Yeah. Well, I wish you all the success in the world. It's been amazing to talk to you. Good luck at the Grammys.
Yeah. Great smile, by the way.
Thank you, Dante Bowe. I appreciate that.
Smile. Yeah.
Well, okay, you need to play Joyful. It's on repeat. I don't have many songs on repeat. Joyful is one of those. It will speak. I've got chills talking about it. Play it for your kids, your family. Like, it changes the atmosphere of a room. That's all I have to say.
Wow.
I can't wait till the next time we get to talk. I can't wait to watch you at the Grammys. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Good to see you. With 77% of the workforce saying that they have experienced some sort of burnout in their current role, we need help. And I'm turning to one of my friends and a certified coach to get us exactly that. Linda Zelnick, welcome to the Sami Cone Show.
Thank you, Sammy. It's great to be here.
Well, I'm excited to talk about this because I just gave this crazy statistic about the workforce, but really we all work on some capacity, whether we're talking about a stay-at-home mom, someone that's retired, you know, or you're in your traditional 9 to 5, we all have something that we're doing every day. And if that's not bringing us joy, it really eats away at us, doesn't it?
It really does. Those little things that drain our energy add up to really put us at risk for burnout.
Yeah, and so you've written a great guide, a book called From Burnout to Boom. What else did you find that really made you want to write this, may I say, a very practical book, and I say this in the most complimentary way possible, a quick read, because if we're burned out, we don't need one more thing to add to our plate, right?
Yes, yeah, that was the goal of Burnout to Boom, was to make this accessible. I've been burned out. When you're burned out, you don't feel like you have any time. And so it gets straight to the heart of it, starts with awareness and moves on into strategies to really create a sustainable pace change.
Yeah, and I do want to get to those strategies, but can you just talk first about some of the long-term implications if we don't address some of these issues?
Yes, this is the part that really grabbed my attention, and I wasn't really aware of it until I did the research. So we operate at this pace, and we start to think it's normal. It'll get better next month, or when the kids are a little older, or in this phase, when life slows down. But if it's left untreated, it can lead to diabetes, heart attacks, long-term depression, so many things that are more serious than we realize by just going from one thing to the other and living in a state of exhaustion or overwhelm.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us are feeling that. And I think, especially even coming out of quarantine, everyone thinks, oh, well, we weren't doing a lot, but even that takes a toll, that exhaustion. So if someone just is tuning in right now and you could tell them one thing to change today to help them move from burnout to boom, what would that be?
Yeah, the biggest thing that I recommend, the thing I recommend most often is to create margin. So by having our day scheduled constantly, going from one thing to the other, and culture supports this to do all the things, we don't have any space for the unexpected, and yet we know the unexpected comes up. And so when that unexpected thing comes on top of an already busy and stressful schedule, it creates even more undue stress, the long-term stress that just comes from that. And so creating margin looks like cutting out things that aren't essential, that are maybe things we feel like we ought to do, or things that used to serve us and were needed at one point for our lives but aren't anymore. Sometimes this looks like habits or different tasks and commitments, and sometimes it's even people, where we need to limit the amount of people we're engaging with and when.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just raise my hand. I'm guilty. And so we have just a minute left, but can you just end us with some encouragement for that woman that's watching that's like, that's me, but I don't know how to change?
Yes. So first of all, your best matters. Your full self, the feeling like yourself again, is very important, and it's doable. It is. I've got this guide here for you with several strategies filtered in to help pick what fits you in your context, and little sustainable shifts add up to make a big difference. And self-care helps, but we can't self-care ourselves out of burnout, or we wouldn't have ended up burned out.
Oh my
so
goodness. That's
anybody
so
that I can help with a strategy session, I'd love to.
Yeah, that's so helpful. We're going to put your website up at altacoaching.com. Thank you, Linda, for all your help today.
Thank you for having me, Sammy.
Absolutely. Before I go, I need you to know to find the light. Have you ever pulled apart a pair of chopsticks from a Chinese takeout restaurant only to discover a splinter in your finger later? That happened to me one night, and while I couldn't see anything in my hand, I also couldn't ignore the pain. I did everything possible to both remedy and ignore the foreign object, but to no avail. Whether it was because of the lack of light, improper tools, or because I simply started doubting whether or not something was really there at all, I soon gave up and moved on. It wasn't until the next morning that things became more clear. With the help from the daylight, tweezers, and a magnifying glass, I was finally able to locate and remove the splinter from the night before. It made me think about how negativity and poor choices can penetrate our lives, sometimes without us even knowing how they got there. At first, we may try to fight against them, but if we linger in the darkness too long, we begin to accommodate the intruder instead of removing it. As you go about your day-to-day, I ask you to examine what spiritual or emotional splinter needs to be removed from your life. Maybe it's metaphorical, but it's quite possible it's something much more literal. Wherever you are right now, stop to find the light. Never accommodate something in your life you know to be untrue, unwise, or unwelcome. Trust your God-given intuition and never be afraid to ask for help removing something from your life you know shouldn't be there in the first place. I learned something from each of my guests today, and I pray you did too. I want to thank each of them for sharing their passion with us, and I thank you for being willing to take time out of your day to join in our conversations. I hope you have a great day. Make sure you make it great, and do not wait to tell someone you love how you feel about them. Bye, friends.